What's up, guys? So today I got something new. It's gonna be my first video today on an NFL DraftKings lineup slash picks video. First time doing it. Well, I've done it before, but not for this season. I've done it for last season. But yeah, I've been playing this for a while now, but just haven't made any videos. Haven't made any videos on the MMA lineups either. But I'm also continuing playing that. But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a lineup that I came up with that I think should do okay. But could potentially hit big, you never know. But yeah, it's going to be a GBP lineup, and yeah, just going to be sharing it with you guys, letting you guys know what I think, my process and why I picked these guys. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started here, guys. So right away, starting here with my QB, I'm going to go with a value pick, going with Tyrod Taylor. Here it is right here. His average on DraftKings is 18.3, which isn't too bad, especially for his price, 5,700. Here's his stats right here, his game log. So as you can see, his last game he had 20 fantasy points. Now what I like about Tyrod Taylor is he mixes it up. He does a lot. He does a lot of passing, but he also does his rushing, kind of similar to like Kaepernick in a way. Just a little bit cheaper here on DraftKings. Kaepernick's I think $500 more expensive now. But yeah, Tyrod Taylor seems very consistent with his points, except for that game against Cincinnati. If you guys can see that, it was a very low scoring game. He only scored 9.54, and obviously that's pretty horrible right there. But I think this week against the Raiders, that's a pretty damn good matchup. Obviously the Raiders. Not good against the pass. Obviously their defense isn't that good. Here's the ranking on there. So I think Tyrod Taylor could get some runs here against the Raiders. Should be able to pass the ball effectively to his receivers and McCoy, obviously his running back. So he's gonna be passing it to McCoy, probably Sammy Watkins, maybe Goodwin, maybe even his tight end. So I think Tyrod Taylor is going to be able to mix it up here, pass it to his targets, and also run the ball. So that's what I really like about Tyrod Taylor is that he's versatile, in which like I said, he passes the ball and he also runs with the ball. I mean, we look at his rushing statistics here, as you guys can see right there. He had 7 attempts in his last game, 38 yards. And he had a touchdown in that. Wait a minute. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, as you can see right there, 7 attempts, 38 yards, 1 touchdown in his last game against Bengals. Like I said, that was actually a really bad week for him. Only 9.54. His only other worst week compared to that one was his first game of the season, where he had 5.54, which is pretty horrible. But as you can see, if you look at his game log, he's kind of averaging almost about 20. Like I said, his average is 18.3. Yeah, that's pretty much about an average of 20 points, and that's not too bad for this price. He has potential here against the Raiders. He has a good matchup against the Jaguars. He also had a good matchup, and he came out with 20 points. So yeah, I think Tyrod Taylor is a pretty good play this week, and yeah, he's pretty cheap, so you get some expensive players by picking him. So now let's go ahead and go on to our running back position here. I'm going to go with the main guy here, the main hitter, going with David Johnson, guys. Obviously, this guy's just a beast. I mean, there's not much needed to be said about this guy. This guy is fucking a workhorse. Not only does he catch the ball, he runs the ball a lot, and he's very effective. He always gets touchdowns pretty much. I mean, just look at his average, 27.3. That's pretty fucking crazy right there, man. That's pretty fucking high. Now, obviously, he's very fucking expensive at 9,500, which is why we have to throw in cheaper players like a value pick, as in Tyrod Taylor. Because if you want to get hitters like David Johnson or Le'Veon Bell or Julio Jones, Mike Evans, high expensive players, pretty much you're gonna have to get a cheaper player pretty much. So Tyrod Taylor Save me some money there instead of going with a $7,000 quarterback or high, $6,000 quarterback. But yeah, David Johnson, this guy's a beast. His last game, 33 points against the Falcons, against the Vikings, who have a good defense. He got 38 points against the Niners, 27. I mean, if you look at his just game log, I mean, damn, he's always getting pretty much above 20 points. Some games he doesn't, but I mean, he's consistently getting above 15 points for sure. So this guy is for sure a lock to get 15 points and over. But I mean, it's not even that low. This guy, his average is 27 points. He's pretty much going to get you at least 25 points. And, I like that. I like the matchup. It's not a bad matchup. Yeah, he's expensive, but we know he's going to get a lot of points. So, yeah, David Johnson, like the matchup. And, yeah, he's expensive, but, he's going to get those points. So let's go ahead and move on to my other running back. We're going to go with McCoy. So this is my stack here with Tyrod Taylor. As you guys usually know, when you get a quarterback, you got to stack them with a receiver, tight end, but I'm stacking him here with a running back. So he does pass it to McCoy, so there is some upsides. You can see there's some targets there. So McCoy, doesn't just run the ball, but he also does catch the ball. So Tyrod Taylor obviously will throw it to him. And yeah, McCoy's been pretty consistent. His average is 20.1 points. And yeah, you guys can see all the stats right here pretty much. He's had a few bad games, but those were, when he was recovering from injury. Now it looks like he's pretty healed up now against the Jaguars. 32.4. Yeah, that's a shit ton of points. And I actually did not play him that week because obviously I thought he was still kind of a little banged up, but obviously now he proved that he's not banged up no more. So yeah, so he's gonna be back on here, back on my team. And I mean, just look at his points, man. This guy's a beast. He has a really good matchup here against the Raiders. Should be able to run the ball effectively. Should be able to catch the ball effectively, and overall, deliver us some points here. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the wide receiver position here. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Mike Evans. So I like Mike Evans because this guy gets a shit ton of targets. You guys will see that right now. As you can see, his last game against Seahawks, they have what's his name, Richard Sherman on him. This guy still catches the ball a lot, and look at that, 33.4 against them. This guy just, even in a bad matchup, he still gets a lot of touches. And yeah, I mean, if you look at his game log, he's never had under 10 points. So this guy's always going to be balling out. He's always going to get a lot of touches. He's the main weapon right now over there for the Buccaneers. And his targets, man, look at that shit. 11 targets his last game. Against the Chiefs, 13. Now against the Bears, yeah, they didn't have much targets there that day. But I mean, just look at that. Pretty much has double-digit numbers and targets pretty much every week. So yeah, this guy, I expect him to get a lot of targets here against the Chargers. I think it's going to be a shootout type of game. I don't think they're gonna. I think since it's gonna be a shootout type of game, I don't think it's worth it to pick one of the running backs. But I mean, you never know, from either of those teams. But yeah, I like Mike Evans this week. I don't think he's gonna be as popular as Julio, but I think he has pretty much the same upside as Julio Jones. So, I like Mike Evans here, and obviously Julio Jones is how much is more? Yeah, he's $100 more expensive. So I like that I can save a little bit of money there. I also think Mike Evans is a bit more consistent also than Julio. So another good thing, or another good reason why to pick Evans over Julio. Next, I'm going with a value wide receiver. Now this guy has been doing pretty well his last few games now. Been getting a lot of touchdowns. Where is he at? There he is right there. Taylor Gabriel from the Falcons. Pretty much the third receiver. Obviously, the first receiver is Julio, and second receiver is Sanu. So yeah, I like Taylor Gabriel, as you guys can see there. He doesn't get a shit ton of targets, but whenever he gets targeted, more than likely catches the ball, and he makes it count pretty much. Look at that. His last 4 games, he has pretty much over 15 points. His last game against the Cardinals, 26.2 points. That's the highest he's ever gotten so far. And yeah, that's a shit ton of points. and it's really worth it, to throw him in a GPP lineup, in this tournament type of style, because he's not. I wouldn't say he's as safe as like Sanu or obviously as Julio. Julio is obviously for sure the more safer option, but Gabriel here has the explosiveness, has the speed, and he has the ability to make some big plays pretty much. So you guys can see right there how when he catches the ball, he makes it count. He's getting touchdowns, 2 touchdowns in his last game. So I mean, I don't know if it's gonna really continue, but I do expect him to look good here against the Chiefs. That's a good matchup. And if they're going to be covering Julio, then they're going to have to throw to someone else, and it's either going to be Sanu or Gabriel. I want to say Sanu would be the more safer option, but because Gabriel's been doing so well, I think they're going to want to pass it to him a lot more now. Or I mean, you never know, man. You never know how this works. Or he may not get any catches at all. It's pretty crazy how DraftKings works. In the with the NFL fantasy and whatnot. But yeah, I think he has a good matchup, and yeah, if they're covering Julio, like I said, they're gonna pass it to either him or Sanu more than likely. So I like Gabriel here for his price, only $4,000, and like I said, his last 4 games, he's been just extremely effective. They're really utilizing him, and yeah, I expect him to do well. So I'm putting him on my lineup. Moving on here, we got Marvin Jones Jr. So he's up here, 4,400, and he's actually the same price as Sanu. So if you want Sanu, you could throw him on there, but I think Marvin Jones Jr. has a lot more upside. Anyways, so he's questionable, but we'll see how that works later on. Anyways, he's finally getting a lot of targets now in his last game against the Vikings. He got 11 targets. He only caught 4 of the balls, but this pretty much shows that they're gonna want to throw it to him a lot more now. And against the Saints, I mean, come on now, this game right here is gonna be probably, I'm pretty sure, a shootout. Both these teams have poor defense and really good offense. So I expect this game. I expect both teams to score a lot of points. And I do expect a Marvin Jones Jr. touchdown. This guy hasn't scored in a while. I mean, if you look in the beginning, he was really on fire, and then obviously now he's not doing as good. But I mean, he's pretty much the second receiver right now. I want to say the first receiver right now is Golden Tate. We also have Theo Riddick and Quan Bolden. But I think Marvin Jones Jr. he gets a lot of targets, especially in this last game. So, I think it's gonna pretty much be the same thing in this game against the Saints. They're gonna want to pass it to him a lot, and against that poor Saints defense, I expect him to catch the ball. Hopefully, this questionable thing goes away. Says his thigh, limited practice participant or whatever. Because I think he's a good play. I think he has potential for a lot of points. I mean, look at that. His game against the Packers. That's fucking huge right there. 41.5 points. So this guy for sure has tons of upside. And yeah, I'll go ahead and take Marvin Jones Jr. I think he's a good play, and like I said, he's also pretty cheap, only 4,400. Next, we're gonna go to the tight end position, and I'm gonna go with where is he at? I'm gonna go up here. Going with Travis Kelce. So first of all, guy's a beast, and he gets targeted a lot. His average points per game is 14. It's pretty good. Tons of targets there. His last game against the Broncos, 15 targets. Against the Bucks, 9. I mean, if you look at his targets, he gets a lot of targets, and his points are pretty damn good. So this guy's potential here against the Falcons, who don't have such a good defense. And Alex Smith likes throwing to this guy, so this guy should get a ton of catches. And overall, I think he's going to be able to get a lot of points here, guys. His last game, 21 points. Before that, against the Bucks, 20.3 points. So, he has pretty good upside. I mean, his price isn't also not too bad, 4,700. I mean, he's not the cheapest tight end, but I want to say he's kind of like the almost like mid-range type of guy, or not mid-range, but a little bit above mid-range. He's not these top super expensive guys, but you know, he's above the mid-range. I expect Kelsey to have a good game here. And yeah, got him on my lineup. So next, I'm going to go with another tight end, guys. This is my flex position. Here we go. So I'm going to go with, see if I can find him here. There he is right there. I'm going to go with Vance McDonald. This guy's consistent. Kaepernick likes throwing it to him. And yeah, he's pretty safe. You know, this guy's always getting targets, and more than likely he's catching the ball. So, you know, his average is about pretty much 10 points. You know, 9.4 right there. It's pretty close. His last game, 10 points. Against the Patriots, he scored about 14 points. Against the Saints, poor defense, he scored pretty much 18 points there. So, yeah, this guy doesn't have super huge upside. So you guys can see there, he's never had a 20-point game, but I think he's very safe. And for this price, 2,900, you know, I'm running out of money here, so you know, I think it's worth it to throw him on this lineup. Right now, the Niners don't really got, you know, a good receiver to really get the ball for them, and McDonald's pretty much the main target. Pretty much how the offense works right now in the Niners, it's Kaepernick, you know, running it, Carlos Hyde, their running back, doing the work, and for the passing, it's pretty much Vance McDonald and obviously the other receivers. But I think that Vance McDonald's one of his favorite targets, and yeah, I think he's you know, a big part of the offense. So I like Vance McDonald. And now for this one, I'm going with a really cheap defense here. I'm going with the Redskins. So yeah, they're playing against the Cardinals. Palmer likes to throw interceptions. Redskins, you know, just look at their game log. Their average is about pretty much 6 points. They're not too bad, and they're very cheap here at only 2,400. It's a very nice value. Obviously, their last game against the Cowboys, so it was pretty much like a shootout, so they had no points there. Against the Packers, 6 points. Against the Vikings, 6. You know, 7 there. The upside, look at that, 15 points here against the Ravens. So, you know, Palmer likes to throw interceptions. You never know if the Redskins, you know, Josh Norman maybe gets a pick 6 or something like that. I think there's potential for that in this game. Also, don't forget about the sacks and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good pick there, you know, with the Redskins. Especially them being that cheap. It allowed me to squeeze in expensive players like Johnson, McCoy, and Evans. Those 3 guys right there, I'm expecting to deliver up to their expectations, or possibly higher than that. I expect Johnson to get about 25 points for sure. I expect McCoy to get 20 points for sure, and for Evans, I also expect him to get about 25 points for sure. So, you know, to afford all those 3 guys, obviously I had to get cheaper players, and with Redskins being 2,400, I was able to, you know, afford these pretty good players here. So yeah, guys, this is my lineup. Let me know what you guys think about it. First video sharing a lineup, and yeah, I think it's a pretty good lineup for tournaments. You know, I see potential here. I can see Gabriel going off again. I can see Marvin Jones Jr. finally, you know, getting a touchdown and getting, you know, like 20 points. Kelsey's consistent. I expect him to get also like 20 points. McDonald, he's pretty safe. I expect him to get at the minimum 10 points. So yeah, I can see this lineup doing pretty well here. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this lineup. And yeah, sorry for the video being so long. But yeah, that's going to be it. And thanks for watching.